Hey everybody, my name's Nuktuk, and well, today is the first day in the daily Lost Sector rotation that I am not able to do the Master Lost Sector without firing a weapon. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I definitely think that it is possible to do it. I just seem to have run out of time because of maintenance and reset, and this just being a very difficult Master Lost Sector to do in general. So I've got two different videos that are going to be playing in the background, kind of showing my gameplay of the dungeon. The second one is the farthest that I was able to get, but I still believe that this is a possible lost sector to do. So through the first video here, I'm just going to be kind of talking about the build. As you see, I'm running Strand Hunter, which is a change up from my normal Arc Hunter build with the Assassin's Cowl build. What I'm running here is a suspension build, and this is because of the barrier champions specifically. Unstoppable champions, I feel like I would be able to take out, but these barrier champions are a nightmare to deal with on Arc Hunter. The ability for them to just get their shields up and reset their health completely is too quick. It's too quick for combination blow to be able to deal with without firing a shotgun like 1-2 punch or dealing damage with a weapon in general. So I opted for a Suspend Hunter, and this is because no enemy can really activate their champion ability without or while they're suspended. And so I opted for Suspend Hunter. And the full build that I'm running here is a Shackle Grenade. This is so that I can suspend anything. I'm also using the Widow Silk, so I have 2 Shackle Grenades. The Ensnaring Slam, and this is so I get 2 more instances where I can suspend enemies. But it also, with Gambler's Dodge, it also allows me to be able to get my melee ability back. Which is great because the melee ability is what I use to take out all the Thrall and Cursed Thrall, as you see there. It's also what I use to create tangles that I can use on champions. It's just very, very helpful. And then the 4 fragments that I'm running are Thread of Generation, and that's to be able to give me grenade energy whenever I'm dealing melee damage or damage in general, like you see here. Thread of Finality. And this is important because when I have smaller enemies that are finishable, I can make threadlings, and those threadlings can do extra damage to either nearby enemies or champions that I've suspended in the area. Next one, Thread of Mind. This is so that I can get extra class ability energy when defeating suspended enemies, and since I'm going to be suspending enemies all the time, I'm just going to be able to refund all of my class ability energy, and I'll never have to worry about needing to get a Ensnaring Slam or my melee back. And the last one is, you guessed it, Thread of Continuity. This is just so that I can have increased strand debuff abilities like Suspend, Sever, Tangles, I think, are increased durations as well. So that's the build, and it wraps up nicely because I'm about to die here, making a stupid mistake and trying to finish all of these Thrall while I'm trapped in a prison. So here's the better run, and I've put the amount of barrier champions and unstoppable champions in the Lost Sector at the bottom, just so that you can see how ridiculous this Lost Sector is on Master. On Legend, I believe that there are 2 or 3 maybe barrier champions. I think it's 3 barrier champions. There is only 1 unstoppable champion on Legend. To take it from 3 to 5 and then 1 to 5 is a little ridiculous. That being said, it's definitely doable. The amount of ridiculousness and the amount of champions that they put into this Lost Sector aside, it is still definitely doable. It's just gonna take you a really, really long time. And the reason is because you will have to melee punch with your knife every champion out of the air. And that's pretty much it. You can see what I'm doing here is I'm basically just punching this champion over and over again. And that is the damage that you'll have to do on these champions if you want to do a no weapon run. One other thing that I want to mention is that you'll notice in most of my other videos, I never use my super because I don't think it's necessary. You don't have to use your super in most of these lost sectors. For Veles Labyrinth, I suspect that 2 times you will be required to use your super. Those 2 times are the Shrieker towards the end and the boss DPS. I think those are the only 2 times that you will actually genuinely have to use your super. And the reason being because the Shrieker that's up in the air, and you'll see it later, the Shrieker that's up in the air is just impossible to deal with just chakra grenades and your little throwing dart. It's not easy to jump up there and just do melee damage to it, so using your super for that one enemy, and then maybe like all the acolytes around it if you have enough time, is about the only way that you're going to deal with that Shrieker. Boss DPS is just a nightmare to deal with. I haven't personally gotten there, but judging the legend difficulty and the remaining amount of champions that are going to be in that room for the boss, it's recommended that you use your super. I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want to. Now, that being said, as I finish up the second barrier champion here, this opening section is really, really easy to take care of. You just have to be patient. You just have to, be focused and dialed in, make sure that there aren't any thrall or curse thrall that are around you. It's really, really easy to get through this first section here if you just take it slow, pay attention to your surroundings, don't do stupid stuff like I'm doing and finishing Curse Thrall here. It's not worth it. Just take your time, go slow, and you'll be able to do it. So now we've got 3 barrier champions left and 5 unstoppable. And coming down this hallway here, this is one of the most cursed hallways that you will have to deal with in Destiny 2. There are so many Thrall and Cursed Thrall that will just swarm you. It's best to just take care of the horde of them whenever you can, honestly. It's just easiest to not deal with them for this barrier champion. That being said, if you can cluster some of these Cursed Thrall around the champion and then take care of them, they will actually do a surprising amount of damage to the barrier champion, and then you don't have to, hate yourself for just sitting here and throwing your knife into him. But anyway, with all the thrall taken care of, we're free to just melee this barrier champion down. And I'm trying to be very, very cautious in this hallway here because I know that around the corner there is a unstoppable ogre. And if he even for a second gets a sightline on me, it's over. This entire run is over. So when you're taking care of this barrier champion, you want to have him kind of come in the tunnel a little bit just so that you have some coverage over on that left-hand side. And then once he's down, then you can focus your attention on the unstoppable ogre here. Now, with this unstoppable ogre here, you're going to have acolytes over to the right-hand side up on the balcony. If they get any sort of line of fire on you, they're going to end your run. So my advice for dealing with this unstoppable ogre is to try to suspend it and then get over to the left side of it so that the ogre is between you and the sight line of the acolytes. This is going to give you coverage from the Shrieker, which is up top and to the left as well. So you're just free to absolutely take this ogre down, no problem whatsoever. Just suspend it and snaring slam it. Just keep knifing it. As long as the ogre is between you and those acolytes up top, it is not going to be a problem for you. You will see that sometimes I do duck back into this tunnel over here. It's just because honestly, I'm afraid of my ability cooldowns, and I'm just trying to make sure that I get a shackle grenade so that I'm able to freely suspend it as best I can. Sometimes you'll see me get caught up on the rocks here, and I get a little nervous and scared. But trust me, as long as you just stay over to the side of the ogre here and don't really let the acolytes see you, it's not going to be that much of a problem. So long as you're able to keep your abilities up too. As you'll see, I just ran out of all of my ability juice, so now I have to kind of wait here. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to run out there with just the ensnaring slam. I'm definitely going to wait for a ranged shackle grenade, just because that ogre will melt your health in this lost sector. So it's about half health right now, and we're just slowly, whittling it down. These unstoppable ogres are definitely the more beefy of the two when it comes to this, between them and the barriers. And mostly it's just because of their unstoppable ability that reduces the incoming damage. If it wasn't for that, I think that you'd be able to do this a lot quicker and a lot easier, but them's the breaks. You'll also see that I'm not immediately finishing this ogre, and that's mostly just so that I can get some of my ability cooldowns to reset. It did leave this nice tangle here for me, though, so I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to take it up to the next barrier champion. Okay, so with this barrier champion here, you want to make sure that it is absolutely pinned in this corner here. If you do not keep it pinned in this corner, the ogre over on the cliff over there is going to ruin your day. So just keep it suspended over in the corner here. When all the thrall come, just take them out with a little rope dart. Suspend whatever's remaining, use whatever tangles you can against this barrier, but you absolutely want to make sure that it does not leave this corner of the balcony. Because if it does, then 1, that ogre's going to fire on you, and 2, if you're far enough to the edge over there, that shrieker's going to actually start firing at you, and it's not a fun time, and you get so frustrated and angry. It's just not fun. It's not worth it. So, taking down this knight right here, again, not finishing it right away, trying to get some of my ability juice back. And now we just have the ogre across the way, and we're pretty much at the boss room. So he doesn't see me, he's kind of walking away. I'm just waiting for my shackle grenade to pop back up, and we're gonna go over there and ruin his day. Now, the other thing to mention about this ogre here is that there are 2 sword knights with arc shields. So you want to make sure that you kind of group them all together here. And my advice is that you actually take out those hive knights first and not do what I'm doing and just knife into the ogre all willy-nilly. Reason being is, 1, it'll be a lot easier for you to just focus on the ogre. But 2, if you can get those knights down to half health and finish them, you can spawn some threadlings, and those threadlings will do damage to either the other knight that's there or the ogre that's there, and that'll just make your life a lot easier getting through this section. So you can see that I switched tactics, stopped punching the ogre, I started switching over to the knight, and I'm about to get close to a finisher here. As I do, that one knight popped a little tangle for me, so I'm gonna pick that up and use that on the remaining knight and ogre. And I think I'm actually gonna get a second tangle here because the cooldown wore out. So we'll get a second tangle, we'll suspend this ogre real quick, and we'll just knock down this ogre freely now that we don't have any other enemies to take care of with this ogre. Now, coming up on the point where I was talking about the Shrieker. With this Shrieker, I do not think it is possible for you to take it out without using your super. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. The bullet grenade will keep it in a suspended state where it won't fire at you. But you're not going to be able to do a significant amount of damage to that Shrieker without using your super. And I don't buy the idea of just keeping it in a permanent suspended state, because for the remainder of the Lost Sector, that means that you are down permanently 1 shackle grenade, and that's not a state that you really want to be in. So I just recommend popping your super, taking it out. Don't do what I'm about to do here, which is wait for it to be unsuspended before using your super. You wanna actually suspend that sucker and then use your super on it. Because what you're gonna see me do here is use my grenade, kind of think about it for a second on how I wanna, take it out, and kind of realize almost a second too late that I should probably just use my super on it. So go ahead and get up there, just use your AoE damage on it. It takes about 4 rounds all put together. And you can see I'm at very low health here, so thank God I had enough to take out the Acolytes and Thrall that were just around. And this is the point here where I started getting really, really nervous. I hadn't made it here before, and I was kind of anticipating this to be extremely difficult. But once you get this wizard down, I think it's actually a little bit manageable to do. So take out this wizard, and that's when 2 other ogres are going to spawn over to the right. And I believe that there is one other barrier champion that is going to spawn up to the left where the chest is. And I firmly believe that if you just take those 3 last champions very, very slow, single them out, and take it very, very slow, you can do this. This is possible. What you'll see me do here, though, is try to take on both those ogres at the same time, put myself into a corner, and then get absolutely decimated by those acolytes. So that is the farthest that I was able to get on the Veles Labyrinth. I don't anticipate that it's going to be back in rotation anytime soon, but just know that when Veles Labyrinth comes back into rotation, I will be attempting this on Master again. And when I do, I hope to be able to beat it. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Click like, click subscribe, do all that crazy YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.